Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, welcome to another CW webinar. I'm Wanderson and me and my team are here to bring you the main highlights of the third quarter 2021 trade prices report update. For today's presentation, I would like to introduce myself, Wanderson Teixeira, Junior Business Analyst at CW Group, as well as my colleague Vasco Teixeira, also Junior Business Analyst at CW Group, and the lead analyst on this report. Both of us here are based in Portugal. On today's agenda, I would start with an introduction of our company, what it is that we do, what we have to offer, and of course, share the main highlights of this new report update. So to start off, CW Group is present across three distinct verticals, advisory, research, and media. Under the advisory, CW works with major consultancies and leading institutions, including the World Bank and funds on various projects. We provide consulting and advisory expertise on a diverse product portfolio. Just to give you a brief example, the most recent sample of advisory project provided by us include a detailed study on circular economy for the MENA and West Africa region. Other examples also include a business process analysis for our online art gallery website as well. Now, when we jump into the research umbrella, CW focus on cement demand globally, as well as detailed industry and country reports. We provide historical and forecasts for markets in a variety of products. This includes one of our main products, the VFR, Volume Forecast Report, and the one that we are presenting today, the TPR Trade Prices Report. We also provide commodity price assessments for cement, clinker, as well as patch coke and coal. And last but not least, our media umbrella, under it, you can have online access to our vast database. You can subscribe to newsletters for topics of interest, including cement, building materials, paper and pulp, patch coke, and coal. We also have some industry-specific meetings. We are currently going back to holding them in person. So now we are having conferences in person, and our next conference is scheduled to be held on the 8th and 9th of December in Mexico, called Alternative Fuels and Raw Materials Americas 2021, mostly known as AFARM Americas. So for more details regarding this next meeting, please don't hesitate to contact our sales team, which email address can be found at the end of this presentation. So now, without further ado, let us dive into today's presentation, CW's Research Third Quarter 2021 Update of the Trade Prices Report. This is a quarterly report focused on providing a comprehensive quantitative and qualitative analysis of the trade of cementitious products. As always, it's our endeavor to continue expanding our coverage of cement trade prices, especially in Africa. In our statistical model that is used for this report, we update it twice a year in the second and fourth quarter. And in terms of coverage, this report covers 86% of the global trade for this specific product. For more details regarding individual and corporate subscription to this report, they are available in the link that you can find below in this slide. Well, now in terms of country coverage, while the coverage for most regions is comprehensive in the sense that at least one or more factors are tracked, increasing coverage of major African markets, as I mentioned before, continues to be one of our major focus. This is, of course, hampered by the lack of consistent official data sources. Now, to start off, I'm going to present you an overview of the global economic outlook for 2021. As we all know, after a sharp contraction in 2020, The global economy, according to the IMF's July outlook, is expected to see a growth of 6% this year, with China and India being amongst the few countries that are expected to see an extraordinary growth of 8 and 9% respectively. Nevertheless, the OECD outlook for this year it's a little bit more conservative, with the global economy expected to see a smaller growth than the IMF's prediction of 5.7% this year. According to the OECD's latest report, which was released actually yesterday, September 22nd, there is a strong economic recovery underway, even though it remains too uneven. We have some countries that are still struggling to recover from the effects of the pandemic, especially for the emerging economies, because they continue to face challenges, with many of them, including Brazil and Indonesia, facing high debt levels. In addition to this, even though there is a fast global economic recovery expected for this year, with the vaccination programs being very successful in many countries, governments still need to vaccinate globally in order to ensure a more sustained and balanced recovery this year. Now, on the next slide, as you can see here, we're going to talk about the Baltic Exchange Main Sea Freight Index, the BDI. In terms of this index, which tracks rates for ships carrying dry bulk commodities, as of September 22nd, yesterday, the index rose to 4,560 points. This was led by stronger demand not only for Panamax, but also for Capesize vessels. Strong iron ore and coal trades have been driving the dry bulk rates higher in the past couple of weeks. For instance, increasing iron ore production and exports both from Brazil and Australia, as well as coal demand from India and China to refuel stocks ahead of the winter, have also been aiding the rise in the Capesize. To give you an example, the Panamax index yesterday rose to 3,961, which it is one of the highest increases in more than 10 weeks, while the Capesize index also had an increase of 7,000 to 7,200 in the same period. Now, for the remainder of the year, we still have quite uncertainty if the recent iron ore gains in Asia are going to continue to be sustained, mostly given to the collapse of China's iron ore demand recently. Now, I would like to pass the presentation to my colleague Vasco so he can continue with our trade prices analysis. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Wanderson, and welcome again, everybody. Now I'll be providing some insights on the current market situation, but of course the report includes a much more detailed analysis on what is happening and what to expect in the next quarter for both ex-works and retail prices. So, to begin with, ex-works prices in the third quarter of 2021 are expected to witness a wide variation amongst all regions, with North and South America being the regions with the biggest price increases in the quarter. In North America and Central America, Mexican ex-works prices are expected to witness an increase of more than 3% quarter on quarter as a consequence of higher fuel costs, which result in a rise in production costs. And more recently, price increase announcements have been made by major manufacturers such as Cementos, Chihuahua, and Cemex. Also, prices are also expected to see an increase of more than 1% in the US, and the construction sector continues to show a positive performance in the country. In July alone, the value of construction put in place in the United States increased 0.3% compared to the previous month, while increasing 9.0% compared to the same period last year. Moving on now to South America, we expect ex-works prices to see a robust increase, boosted by Brazil's prices increase, as the cement industry continued to grow in the second quarter of the year. This is mostly due to the self-construction and renovations that continue to be on the rise in the country and the continuation of works in the real estate. In regards to Argentina, the construction and cement industries also showed a robust growth in the second quarter after a year in which the sector is almost collapsed due to the pandemic. And in terms of the construction industry, in July, there was an increase of 6.8% month on month, while on a yearly basis, there was a rise of 28.6%. And added to this, the cement industry saw an increase in sales of 20.5% year on year in July alone. Meanwhile, in South Asia, ex-works prices are expected to see a decline of almost 3% on a quarterly basis, led by the declines in India. And the Indian prices are expected to see a decline of more than 2% in the third quarter, mostly led by the decline in the south region of the country. And lastly, China's ex-works prices are expected to see a decrease by more than 3% in the third quarter as the sector continues to face demand decline caused by the heavy rain season. So in this slide, we are presenting the cement ex-works price variation on a yearly basis for the third quarter. And on a yearly basis, ex-works price variations are expected to range from a decrease of 7% in the Asia-Pacific region to an increase of more than 12% in South America. In China, ex-works prices, after having a decline on a yearly basis in the second quarter caused by the lower demand due to, as I said before, the rainy seasons, are expected to see a recovery as demand starts to pick up. In Ukraine, the ex-works prices are expected to increase almost 2% year on year in the third quarter of 2021. And as the economy grew to 12.8% in the first 6 months of the year, the construction sector saw a significant improvement, with new buildings increasing by 10.3% in the January to July period. Moving on to Europe, in France, cement ex-works prices are estimated to have a yearly decrease of around 2% as the French construction sector continued to show a negative performance as output declined 1.4% on a quarterly basis in the second quarter of the year. And lastly, in the United States, in the third quarter of 2021, the ex-works prices for cement are forecast to increase almost 9% year on year. And as it was mentioned in the previous slide, in July, the value of construction put in place in the United States increased 0.3% compared to the previous month, and increased 9.0% compared to the same period last year. And in addition, the number of building permits increased by 6% year on year and 2.6% on a monthly basis in July. So in order to better understand the trade prices dynamics, and before jumping into the trade study, I would like to start by providing some country level insights and when it comes to the cement demand. So in Morocco, cement demand increased year to date by 19% in August, showing an impressive growth. And on a monthly basis, there was a rise of 31% to 1.1 million tons. And other markets that are showing growth include Peru, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia. In regards to Peru, sales showed a robust growth of 41% in the January to July period when compared to the same period last year. And this growth was in the back of the resumption of demand after the quarantine restrictions caused by the pandemic. And in Brazil, the cement sales increased almost 14% year to date in July to reach 37.2 million tons. And the main drivers for the growth include renovations, self-construction, and the continuity of works in the real estate sector. And lastly, in Saudi Arabia, sales of cement in August increased around 5%, looking at it at the year-to-date perspective. However, in August alone, sales witnessed a decline of more than 5% year on year to reach 4.1 million tons. So, to provide a context of the global market scenario, I'll present a volume analysis of trade of cementitious products in the second quarter of this year. And globally, gray cement volumes increased 9% quarter on quarter, and the Mediterranean Basin and the Asia-Pacific Japan regions were the ones that reported the biggest export volumes during the quarter. And specifically, Turkey remains the largest exporter of gray and white cement in the second quarter. In terms of clinker, global volume saw a decline of less than 1% quarter on quarter, and Turkey became the largest exporter with almost 30% of its exports directed to the Ivory Coast and Ghana during the second quarter of the year. And lastly, Japan remained the biggest slag exporter with the share of more than 42% of the total exports, followed by India and Malaysia. So now, when we talk about FOB average prices during the second quarter, Scandinavian Baltics was the region with the biggest price drop of almost 4% quarter on quarter, and reaching around $72 per ton, while South America prices increased around 2% also quarter on quarter. On a yearly basis, the Mediterranean Basin FOB price increased slightly more than 5% for cement, and the region represented 32% of the global traded volume during the quarter. In the third quarter, both gray and clinker prices are expected to witness an increase compared to the second quarter, and gray cement prices are set to have an increase of almost 1% in the same period. And the Mediterranean and Asia-Pacific Japan regions are likely to continue to be the top two major regions to export gray cement during the third quarter of 2021. So in this slide, we also provide an overview of gray cement FOB price change between our estimation of prices in the third quarter and our forecast for the fourth quarter of this year. And we see that in the Middle East and Asia Pacific, prices are forecast to remain stable, but China is expected to see a small decline of almost 0.5%. And in the South America region, prices are estimated to reach more than $79 per ton. And in the Sub-Saharan Africa, FOB prices are set to reach $82 per ton in the fourth quarter of 2021. All the other regions will likely see a small increase in FOB prices. And to give you an example, Eastern Europe is forecast to see a price increase to reach around $66 per ton. And now I would like to end the webinar with the closing remarks of our report. Please note that we focus on the highlights of this update, and you can find more detailed information in our report. So to start, both cement and clinker prices are expected to increase in the third quarter. Turkey remained the largest exporter of gray and white cement and became the largest trader of clinker, whereas Japan remained the largest exporter of slag. And in the third quarter, on a yearly basis, ex-works prices are expected to show a wide regional variations, with the North and Central America showing a robust growth. And the CW index price for gray cement is expected to remain stable in the Asia-Pacific, Japan, Middle East, West Europe, and China regions. So to finalize, I would like to thank you for your time and your attention. Please don't hesitate to contact us so we can help you. And I hope to see you in our next webinar. Thank you. Bye-bye.